starting 27 years ago, I got introduced to some characteristics and some concepts. We're going to start with building the foundation of what it takes to succeed starting right now. Some of your foundations are cracked. Some of them are a mess. Some of you need to start all over again. Is there anybody here that needs to start all over again? Fresh, new, like abandon the other foundation, and then we got to start over here, and I'm moving on. I have to cut my ties to what that was over there because I got to build something that actually is built to last. So I'm going to give you 8 characteristics of what we call 2% of the population this morning. There's 2 different populations here in the room, 98% of the population and 2% of the population. There's a lot of people who think they're a 2%er, but in all reality, the results prove that they are not. Your results tell you whether or not you're in that 2%. Let me tell you the difference between and the qualifications of both. Number 1, 98% of the population will be dead or dead broke by the age of 65. 65 seems to be part of a finish line. Dead or dead broke at the age of 65. Dependent on your family, friends, or federal government for your main source of income. 98% of those from Europe, Australia, Canada, South America, 98% of all of these highly educated individuals lumped in with the ones who have no education. 98%. I heard these numbers 27 years ago by a millionaire that was standing on the stage. And I thought to myself, I'm going to end up in the 98%. I'm starting from so far back. And it's clear that my entire family is 98 percenters. So I know I don't have a chance at that. But maybe I could get somewhere in the middle of the 98 percenters, which is making a 6-figure income. Making a 6-figure income does not make you a 2%er. Not at all. Not even making $1 million a year makes you a 2%er. There are plenty of people like my husband and I that after I made my first million, the next year I was broke all over again. I wasn't homeless again, but I was broke again. After I made my second million, guess what happened then? I was broke again. 3rd million, 4th million, broke again. I had to make $4 million in order to learn my lesson. Please don't be as stupid as I am. We've made tens of millions of dollars since that time in the last 15 years. Tens of millions. And we have multiplied our money instead of blowing our money. There's 3 things about money you gotta learn. Number 1, how to make it. Number 2, how to keep it. 98 percenters do not have the skill of keeping the money. Number 3 is only what 2 percenters know how to do with money. And that is to cause money to grow. That is their daily job. That is their skill with money, is multiplying the money. Not multiplying it every once in a while. Not multiplying it with getting lucky with one stock here and there, but losing money and going further into debt every single year. The debt is including your mortgage, your cars, your boats, the credit cards for the clothes, the credit cards for the vacations. All of that is broke, and that's all a 98% lifestyle. The lifestyle that leads to dead or dead broke at the age of 65 is a lifestyle of debt for luxuries, a lifestyle of debt for necessities, a lifestyle of debt for your basic living expenses. Again, if you have a mortgage, that is a debt. That's your basic living expense. If you're using your credit card for groceries or a vacation, that is your basic living expenses. Using debt to finance a lifestyle is a 98% plan. The road leads to broke at 65 and beyond. The road leads to depending on your family. Let me ask you a question. How many of your family members, as much as they love you, how many of you know that they are not in that 2% of financial independence? And if any of them were in that 2% of financial independence, I have a question for you. How many of them would not pay for your retirement? How many of them would not pay for your daily living expenses? As much as they love you, how many of them would not pay for your vacations, your food every day, your electric bill, your car? How many of you do not have a single family member that while they are 65 and over and taking care of themselves, they would not be taking care of you. Let me just see. So I guess that's a plan of failure, isn't it? Number 2, family, friends. Think of all of your friends. How many of you do not have a single financially independent friend? Raise your hands, wave at me. How many of you do have one financially independent friend? So with your one financially independent friend, are they willing that when you both are 65 to take care of you and all of your living expenses and the traveling you want to do at that point in your life? It's hell no. I don't care how much you think they love you. They're going to take care of who? As they should. So number 3 was the federal government. Oh, now that's going to work. So Social Security somehow is going to take care of your mortgage that you can't pay right now. Somehow the federal government will be your main source of income because you just said your family's not going to be your main source of income. Your friends are not going to be your main source of income. So now we're down to number 3 and final, hello, federal government. The federal government, Social Security or whatever you're going to call it, benefits, whatever your country calls it, please tell me, how much are they going to give you every single month after working for the last 45 years? Well, wait a second, how much are you putting in? And you seem to think that a couple $100 a month that you're paying into Social Security somehow is going to equal 5, 6, 7, 8 grand a month? And you can't live on 5, 6, or 7, 8 grand a month right now. If you're not able to afford the lifestyle you have right now on your income, when you retire, it's going to be less income. And if you can't figure out how to live on what you're making now, and you're not satisfied with what you're making now, when the world makes you think that when you get to 65, somehow making less and living on less is going to make you happy. Family, friends, federal government for your main source of income. How many of you better change your financial plan? You have no choice. You have absolutely no choice. 25% of the American population, their security retirement plan is winning the lottery. No joke. Fact. They're buying lottery tickets. Their plan is, I am going to become financially independent by winning the lottery. Have fun with that. You know what the studies show, right? That people who win the lottery, within how many years are they what? Some of them within a year, they're flat broke all over again. Some of them within 5 years. Isn't that crazy? Do you know that over 90% of all NFL football players that made millions of dollars in their NFL career are flat broke within 2 years and looking for a job? Within 2 years after they retire. Flat broke. I did a show on one of them. He made $50 million, quarterback, famous quarterback, made $50 million in his 10-year career. Flat broke, declared bankruptcy. Why? Because it's not just about making money. It's about possessing skills of what? Keeping the money, number 1, and number 2, learning how to get your money growing and working for you without you working for it. And that extra money, you ain't blowing it like a 98%er. You see, to become successful, you have to look at what everyone else is doing and do the exact opposite. You have to determine, do I want what they have? Is this the lifestyle that I desire? And I'm not talking about the stuff, because the stuff comes with debt. Do I want all that debt? You see, we live in a society that tells you should keep up with the Joneses. I'm here to tell you the Joneses are broke, but the Johnsons are not. The Joneses are broke, so why in the world are you trying to keep up with them? They are broke. And if you try to follow in their footsteps, you're going to have what they have. We've become a society that wants stuff. We want convenience. We want pleasure. And therefore, we will suffer the consequences. Later on in life or now, we will suffer until we learn how to be wise with money, make wise decisions, be wise with our time. So, what is your financial vision for your life? Because the first characteristic that 2% of the population has, they have a vision. What is your vision? 2% has a vision. What's yours? Do you have a financial vision? Do you have a vision for your marriage? Or let's say you're single. Do you have a vision for your single life? Do you have a vision for your family, what your family should be like, what you want it to be like? What is your vision for your health? What is your vision for your relationships with family and friends and your community? What is your vision for your job, your career? What is the reputation you want to have versus the one that you do have? What is your vision for your business if you have one? What is the vision you have for the lifestyle, the kind of time that you're able to take off, places that you want to go, people that you want to see, foods that you want to taste? What is your vision for the charitable part of your life? Because 98% of the population doesn't even realize they're supposed to have a charitable part of their life. That it's a part of your life. You're supposed to give back. It's part of you. It's part of the reason why you're on the planet. It's to not be selfish, but to give into other people's needs. And not giving so that you can get from them. Not lending money to your family because you want to be held up in high esteem by your family, but instead giving to people that you may never meet. They never knew that you gave the money. You're not attached to what the outcome is, and you're not attached to any of the benefit. But that it is a sacrifice that you're making to help somebody else because someone once helped you. Nuh-uh, Dani, no one's ever helped me. BS, buddy, I'm here this weekend helping your butt. I got better things to do. I live 1 hour from here. I could be sitting at the pool with the hottest looking man on the planet, Hans Johnson. I could still be in bed laying right by his side right now on a Saturday morning. Hot, gorgeous, beautiful, wise man that I'm married to. That's where I could be right now. With my 6 grandkids running all around me. Eating some amazing food that I make. Instead of bird food that I'm eating this weekend so that I don't screw up my performance and energy level. Someone's helping you. You are not some dumb victim that no one's ever helped you. There's lots of people that have helped you in your life. You're blind if you can't see it. And it's time to take the sunglasses off, friend, because there's always been someone helping you. Always. You're never going to become successful by yourself, and you've never become successful by yourself. It takes a team to do all things. And there's always somebody giving someone else a chance. Whether or not you take advantage of the chance or you screw up the chance, that's your choice. That's your choice. So, vision. What is the vision for you? Who you are as a person. What you're personally made of. How you operate in this world. How you think. What is your vision? I've recently sat down with many of our staff members asking that question. What's the vision you have for your life? What's the vision you have for your job? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? If you're not writing these questions now, you're being foolish. I'm asking you this question. It's a very important question to answer. If you don't know the answer to those questions, you're going nowhere. Because let me tell you something. A man without a vision will perish. A man without a vision will perish. When someone doesn't have a vision for their career, for their job, or their business, guess what? Where there is no vision, there is no ownership. There's no personal responsibility. You haven't bought into it. You haven't invested yourself into it. You haven't invested your emotions into it. You haven't invested time into it. You're just passing time. There's a difference between passing time and investing time. 98%ers pass time in their jobs. They punch in, they punch out. 98%ers do the same thing with their business. They invest into the business and they expect the money to fall out of the sky without investing time and skill and learning new skill. So here's the bottom line. If you do not have a vision, you have not taken ownership over what you're doing. Where there is no ownership, there is no commitment. Where there's no commitment, there's no focus. Where there is no focus, there's nothing but distractions. Some of you just got the answer, Dani, I'm so distracted. It's because you're not committed. If you're distracted, there's no commitment. Distractions are a sign of non-commitment. So where there is distractions, there's no results. There's no action, there's no faith. So with vision provides provision for the vision. It brings commitment. It brings ownership. It brings focus. It brings endurance. It brings persistence. Because to succeed in anything in life, you have to fail. You have to fail in order to succeed. It's part of it. And 98%ers are trying to find the recipe, the formula, where they won't fail, but get success. It's impossible to get success without failing.
Prior to Dani Johnson, I was struggling in my business. I was drowning in debt. Me and Crystal weren't doing so well either. In the last 21 months since our first event, I paid off $36,000. We actually got engaged, which was the best part, and my business made $90,000 last year, and I've given over $5,000 to orphans this year as well. So I can tell you that this has changed my life, but I want to recommend that you come to this event and learn as much as you can from Dani Johnson.
I attended a First Steps to Success event, and after the skills I learned there, I started a home business. I made over 5 figures in 1 month. Actually, I've generated over $90,000, which is way more than I ever did working full-time at my other job. So we have increased our income, paid off debt. More than that though, we no longer have that pressure. It's just been such a blessing to my family. So, everything might be awesome in your life, but if you want to increase your income, pay off debt, improve relationships, live the life you've always wanted to live, I suggest you get to DaniJohnson.com and register for the next event.
After plugging into Dani Johnson, we made a covenant that we would either move forward together or we would go our separate ways. And in a matter of days, we sold his car, we bought our engagement ring. 5 months later, we were married. We paid for our wedding in cash because of the business skills that we had also learned from Dani. And we've since then more than quadrupled our income, and we've been together now, married for over a year.
After plugging into Dani Johnson, we have paid off $196,000 in 13 months. My company has grown 90%, and I have relationships that I could never have even imagined with the ones I care most about around me.
Prior to attending my First Steps to Success, we were drowning in debt. We had lost a business. My second marriage was going down the toilets. I had no time and relationship with my son, and I was just a mess, and I was burning out fast. After attending First Steps and been to a few events, we have a thriving business that's gone international. We have paid off 65% of our debt. We are not just making money, but we're saving money, and we're learning how to grow money. I have got a marriage that's gone from barely surviving to thriving, and I now have 2 children with whom I have so much time. I am not burnt out, stressed out, and all I can say is you've just got to get here.